Kyle, 22 male, is a distant relative. Well, he's actually my 19 female stepdad's cousin's kid. I've never really been around him much, though. Just the odd family get-together. We haven't seen each other for a while, but we did at a wedding a few months ago. He drank too much and kept hitting on me, saying how hot I was and how he'd love to get to know me better. I rolled my eyes and kept trying to get away from him, but he kept following me throughout the day. Later on, someone gave him my number, and he kept on messaging me. I complained to my stepdad, who shrugged it off. Some people even thought it was cute or funny, which just encouraged him to act more outrageous. A few days later, he started texting me and sending me some nasty pics. What's worse was that the people at the wedding would tease me like it was some grand joke. About a month or two later, I finally had enough. I sent everyone who mocked me some nasty pics I got from Kyle. Family making fun of Kyle and me in the same group chat, Kyle's pics. The aunt who thought we would make a cute couple, Kyle's pics. His parents who raised him to be this crappy person, Kyle's pics plus lewd text. My stepdad even received a printed picture on his pillow. Amazing how many people I could find via group chats and various social media, and others that I had phone numbers for. I've had a few family members telling me off, how gross it was sending them inappropriate pictures of Kyle and how I invaded his privacy. However, the younger generation of cousins has taken to posting memes about him, such as when there's a family reunion and you can't decide which of your step-cousins to sleep with, or edited versions of his pictures, such as a small leaf covering his bits. Edited. I tried to block him, but he keeps creating fake accounts and contacting me on different areas of social media. I've already told him off for hitting on me, only to receive him saying, "Bet if you had a taste, you would like it." I was just fed up with the mocking, the messages from people making fun of me, and him hitting me down. It was tiring. I began to dread the phone message sounds, to the point where I turned the phone off and walked around for the day without it. I know it's extreme to send proof to everyone, but it shut them up about how we should go out and how I should give Kyle a chance. And yes, Kyle has stopped sending me text. My cousins found out about it and started making fun of him. His stepbrother started teasing him too and changed his morning alarm to, "What are you doing, stepbro?" just to annoy him. Kyle did have a rant on my voicemail, saying that I had ruined him and how much of a witch I was. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. It's curious how everyone thinks his behavior is funny and cute up until you start threatening them the way Kyle treated you. Harassment isn't funny, and Kyle needs a lesson in consent. However, I think your response to their encouragement of his behavior was perfect. Maybe it'll make them think twice in the future. Does your response make you an idiot? Maybe. But sometimes that's what it takes to get through to people. Either way, I love your answer to their pestering. Not the idiot. You tried to make him stop. He didn't. You reached to your stepdad to make him stop. He didn't. You reached out to your family so they can make him stop. They didn't. Since nobody listened to you, you decided to see how they felt, if they would receive the same treatment. If they find his behavior acceptable, then they shouldn't be offended to receive the same. I understand your frustration, and I'm sorry nobody was in your corner for all this. It's an unpopular opinion, but everyone's the idiot here. Couldn't you have gone to the parents and showed them privately how horrible their son behaved? How about the police? Just ignoring it and putting question marks? Changing phone numbers? You say you talked to your stepdad, and he shrugged it off. Well, quite possibly because you needed to talk to Kyle's parents, as your stepdad has nothing to do with his cousin's kid. In my opinion, sharing someone's photos, whether they were sent with consent or not, is not okay. Never. I disagree. They weren't taking her seriously and mocking her. OP is not the idiot. It's cute and funny when you're on the receiving end, yet when they are suddenly, it's gross and inappropriate. A bit hypocritical of them. I mean, it is inappropriate, but I don't have much sympathy for people who send such pics, nor those who encourage it. I, 20 male, am a single child, or at least I thought I was. However, just over a year ago, I discovered that I have a sister, Lucy. The story goes that my mother had a child with her first boyfriend while she was in college, and they couldn't support her, so she opted for adoption at birth. My father was aware of this, but I was never told. Anyways, about a year ago, She made contact with my/our mother. They've gotten on pretty well, keep in touch, and go on the odd lunch. Lucy's also attended a couple of our family events this past year. She and I get along fine as well, but we're different people, so not friends. So I sort of see her as an acquaintance or friend of the family, I guess. It's a little odd because I know we're closely related, but at the same time, she doesn't feel like family, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's the backstory. Now on to the dilemma. My grandparents on my mother's side both passed a few years ago. My mother was their only child, and I'm their only grandchild, and they left their estate to me. This was known to my parents and me before they passed, as they expressed it when they made their will. My parents are well off financially. Mom's a nurse, Dad's a doctor, so they were fine with the arrangement. I was given access to the money on my 20th birthday, and the sum of money was much larger than I expected, totaling around $6 million. This is why I can't talk about this with anyone impartial, because I don't really want friends, etc. to know. Anyway, a few weeks ago, my mother sat me down and asked me to share the money with Lucy. Now here's the thing. Like I said, to me, Lucy is essentially an acquaintance. I know we're related by blood, but I don't exactly feel the type of connection to her that would merit giving her such a large sum of money, or any money at all for that matter. So I explained that to my mother, and she wasn't exactly happy with my answer. She believes I'm being incredibly selfish, and that Lucy could very much benefit from this money since she's still a college student and in debt. Here's why I think I might be the idiot. I don't really see that as my problem. First, I believe family is who feels like family, not who shares your DNA. Secondly, my grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, even though they never met her, and they chose to leave everything to me all the same. Also, it's not as though Lucy grew up poor in the foster system or anything. She was adopted at birth by what seems like two great people. Her adoptive parents are an accountant and a teacher. P.S. I do not plan to just hoard the money. I am starting law school this year and plan to use it to start my own firm once I'm finished. So go forth and judge me, please. Am I being a selfish idiot here? Or am I justified in thinking that simply being related by blood doesn't merit any claim here? Not the idiot. Your grandparents were aware of Lucy's existence, and they chose not to leave her an inheritance. I am guessing since she was legally adopted, your grandparents didn't feel it was necessary. Also, Mother was obviously aware of Lucy's existence, but seemingly did nothing about it until now? I wonder if the grandparents left the money directly to OP to stop their daughter from sharing some of it with Lucy. Not the idiot. If your mother feels she is owed something, your mother should be the one to pony up whatever your mother thinks your half-sister is owed. That is not on you. Once again, not your fault. As a side note, I really hope that the money is in an account that only you have access to. I would hate for your mother to steal it from you. If anyone is being selfish, it's your mom. She's trying to take away from you what was freely given to you, forcing you to split the money with her daughter she gave up at birth. Your mom is the idiot. If your half-sister has been hitting up for any money, she is also the idiot. No idiots here. This is between you and your mother. Your mother's request seems to be understandable. She gave up one child and now realizes that this child is not necessarily better off for being given up, at least financially, as she had hoped when she first made her choices, especially if the decision for adoption was pushed on her by her parents, not an uncommon thing. Her feeling guilty that this child is going without because the same parents who pressured her into adoption chose to ignore the child in the will is an understandable feeling. I'm 34. 10 years ago, I cut my sister out of my life after she cheated with my then fiance. It was a 2-year-long affair that they only came out about when I caught them. She was pregnant and pretending it was the result of a one-night stand. They both knew I would never forgive them if I found out. According to my ex, they were hoping I would love being an aunt, and it would be easier to carry around my back if I was busy with the baby. They ended up getting married and having 2 kids. Then 3 years ago, my sister was involved in a car wreck, and she suffered life-changing injuries. My parents stepped up to be her full-time caregivers. Unfortunately, she will never be able to take care of herself. About a year later, her husband, my ex, died. Their kids went to his parents while my parents became my sister's legal guardians. A few months ago, they started dropping hints about wanting me to step up after they're gone. Then a month ago, my parents called and asked me to meet them. They said they worry what will happen to her when they're gone, or even if they are no longer able to care for her in a few years, and would I take over, either by putting her in a care facility and making sure she's cared for, or physically taking care of her myself. I said no, they needed to figure something else out, but I would never do a single thing for her again, and that hadn't changed because she became disabled. They took it okay at first. Then a week ago, when I hadn't called to change my mind, they said I was the idiot for not doing it for them, to give them peace of mind if nothing else, because even after what she did, she is still their daughter, and she can't advocate for herself. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She cheated and was never sorry. If she hadn't been in an accident, you wouldn't have ever interacted with her again. If your parents are asking you to make sure she's taken care of in a facility, it sounds like there's money available. They should set up a trust or find a friend of your sister's to have them oversee the situation. You don't need to be dragged in. Not the idiot. I'll also go a step further and say your parents aren't right to do this. It's not wrong for them to want what's best for your sister, but it is definitely wrong for them to guilt trip you into taking care of someone you hate. I'm sure they wish their two children got along better, but that's just simply not the case. It might never be the case. You're not wrong for not getting past that awful betrayal. Also, being a full-time caregiver to someone is no joke. Even if you were on great terms with your sister, it's not a given that you'd take care of her. Of course, many would, but I don't think anybody is wrong for not wanting to completely change their lives for someone. No idiots here. They can ask, but you can say no. Even if she were nice, that is a massive lifetime responsibility. They have care homes for people. Your parents should be arranging that now, not waiting until later. At least they should get her on the waiting list. Me, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 27, have been together for about 2.5 years. We live together and we are very happy. When we met, I was studying towards a degree in sciences to one day become a researcher and do important work. My boyfriend was working, still is working, but although he wants a better job, he refuses the idea of university/college. He doesn't want to earn the qualifications that would allow for it to happen. Global issue hit, and it took my part-time job and left me depressed and studying from home. I admitted defeat for that year and decided to take a break from studying. I could not find a part-time job, and I couldn't afford it anymore. So I got a full-time job and decided it was time to earn some money again, so I could save up and have a safety blanket for returning to university. A few months ago, my boyfriend was searching for career options and decided to join the military. He's applied and is currently waiting on the recruitment process to begin. He suggested he would like for me to take a different route for my career and get a kind of job that is less niche and needed everywhere, so I can move around and live with him as he fulfills his goals within the military, meaning we can raise a family together eventually and live side by side. I have expressed that I don't want to change my career. We have spoken about the possibility of me staying at home and pursuing my dreams while he's in the military, but that I wouldn't be happy bringing kids up alone, for the most part, as he'd be away 99% of the time, and trying to balance a career. He gets upset that I say I would be raising kids alone in this situation, but I feel like I'd basically be a single mom. I feel like I'm being told that if I want to be with him, I need to give up my dreams and follow him around the world. He also makes me feel like a ticking clock when it comes to kids, and often tells me that I'm running out of time and that by the time I finish studying and got the job I want, it will be too late. Should I be more willing to budge my goals out of the window when they existed before his? Never ever change your life goals for someone else. Adapt, sure, but not completely abandon. If he wants to stay with you, why not give up his military career? That sword cuts both ways. Think long and hard about this relationship. Sometimes a clean break is best, but you might find a way to make it work. Don't miss out on your education. He is joining the military at age 27 because he doesn't want to get a formal education, but he still feels inferior if you do. Hence, he comes up with the next best thing to stifle your ambitions by dangling a family carrot in front of you. His ultimate goal is for you to not get an education that will give you a thriving career. Never forget that. This is all manipulative nonsense from an insecure man, and this is exactly how it starts. Soon, you will be a 40-year-old woman posting about how she gave up her very existence and dreams to accommodate a man that ended up taking up all financial responsibility. Now she has no savings, no employable skills, and 3 kids and a loveless marriage. This is a typical story when they are desperate for divorce but can't move an inch. Think about it. Your independence is not up for negotiation. My 26 male, sister 28, went to a school in a town that is a popular destination for some of the people in our area. Because of this, our parents bought a condo nearby. There is a hotel there that is known for weddings. We would visit this hotel frequently and eventually became fond of the place. I had never considered getting married there until I brought my now fiancé, 25 female, there on vacation for the first time 3 years ago. We would look at the rooms and talk about the idea of maybe being able to get married there one day. I also knew my sister liked the place, but she had never expressed any desire to get married there, to my knowledge. Fast forward to this October, and my sister became engaged to her now fiancé, 28 male. They ended up planning a wedding at a beautiful venue in the city next to us. As their plans were solidified, I proposed to my fiancé in May. We looked at a few places for venues, but ended up exploring the hotel that we knew about from our vacations. We did our research, bargained with vendors, and scheduled a visit with our parents to finalize the deal in person. Then, out of the blue, my sister had a complete meltdown. She came to my mom and told her that she wants to stop us from getting married there. She claims this has been her dream wedding forever, and she won't be able to stand the sight of her brother getting married there. We tried to have a phone conversation with her, where she was bawling her eyes out and asked us to cancel our plans. She said that the hotel means so much to her, since she went to school near there and had more memories than we realized. She couldn't believe we would even consider looking into it, knowing how upset this made her. We also learned that her fiancé did not want to get married at the hotel. Over the past 2 months, we brought up the venue multiple times in front of my sister and never heard any concerns. However, 2 days passed, and she is still mad that we haven't canceled our plans. My parents offered to cancel her wedding so that she can replan hers at the hotel. She talked to her fiancé about this, and he still said that he did not want to get married there. Then, after a week of ongoing conflict, my parents, my fiancé, and I had a final meeting on our wedding plans before the trip. Apparently, my sister had access to the camera system in my parents' house and spied on the meeting. This is where I believe I may be the idiot. She heard me say the following: I have little sympathy for my sister at this point. This sent her over the edge again. She accused my fiancé of manipulating me into having our wedding here, since there is no way my brother cares this much. Jump to last night, and we just learned that she is threatening to move across the country with her fiancé, since she feels that her immediate family no longer cares about her or her feelings. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but something is wrong with your sister. For her to care that much, seemingly out of the blue, is weird. For her to bawl her eyes out and spy on you over a wedding venue is alarming. If you're going to spy on someone, you may not like what you hear. Sister sounds like she's way too immature to be getting married. Her emotional immaturity is frightening. Threatening to move clear across the country because her family no longer cares about her feelings is bonkers. This is all bizarre. If she cannot get her act together and her fiancé figures out that she's crazy, she might find out that her wedding may end up being called off.